Alright, so in this video what we're going to talk about is going to be the PID and using that with a ramp and soak. Okay, so right now we have a ramp and soak example. We have basically set points. We have an ability to throw it in auto. I am using all this in Studio 5000. It is a fully emulated program, so there is no real world devices, so I'm simulating every bit of this code with using a scale and then an add with a dead time and a lead lag. So if you're curious about how that's done, you can see one of my older videos about how that is done. When it comes down to it though, what we're doing with a ramp and soak is we're taking the output and we're going to pass it through a selector, and if the selector down here, which chooses a selection, if this selector is a value of 0, it's going to go into input 1, which is going to pass the whatever's in the ramp and soak output to the set point for the PIDE. Now, if the segment, the ramp and soak segment, is above or greater than 3, this will change to a value of 1, which will change the set point of the heater to 90 or whatever we have it set to. Now, the reason this is separate like this is so that we can call it inside of, let's just say, a recipe system or something, maybe an HMI screen where we can change that value. So real quick, we have a trend that I have pulled up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show you the ramp and soak being used with a trend. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw both of these in auto, and you'll see now the purpose of a ramp and soak, and you'll see right here, this is in segment 0 right now. So it's in the first segment. So if we think about this, again, with the ramp and soak, we have values, which are values, again, are based upon the ramp time right here, which is going to be a value, or is going to be a real, so and that's an array of 5. The same thing I have as for soak values, and the same thing for soak times. So just keep that in mind. Now we're currently in having a set point of 40, and we're going to be have our soak time at 1 1/4 second, or 1 1/4 minutes. I'm sorry. So soak time is based upon minutes, so just keep that in mind. I'm keeping the timing short in this so that we can see the step changes throughout the process. Normally you would keep your your ramp or your soak time a lot longer. So you see this did change the ramp. The ramp and soak output is blue, and you can see that shot up to 40, and then our PID, which is our PID PV, this is the fuchsia line, right? It actually hit its set point and did everything it's supposed to. Now the ramp and soak just changed to another segment. So basically what is happening right now is the ramp is ramping up to the next set point, which I believe is 55. So the ramp is set to 55, and then the PID itself is going to hit that number. Now again, that's because the PID is properly tuned. When it comes down to it, you can see how this is all reacting. Now coming back, you can see that now we're in segment 1 inside of the ramp and soak. So segment 1, in this case, the set point is going to be 55 because it's right here. So 55, and we're wanting to, our soak time in this case is going to be 1 1/4 again. So keep in mind again though, you normally would soak for a lot longer than that. The purpose of a ramp and soak or a soak process is to penetrate, have that maybe it's a heating process, have that heating penetrate whatever you're trying to actually, maybe it's a big vat of metal, or maybe it's a huge water tank that you're trying to get, or maybe it's some kind of steam system maybe. But the purpose of a ramp and soak is the soak time is to actually allow it to penetrate the object that's obviously trying to heat up. So at this point we went to segment 2. The ramp and soak just changed to segment 2, which changed the set point to 70, and again our soak time is a 1 1/4. Let's look at our trend to see what we're doing, and you can see that it's stepping up. Now again, I'm keeping this short, sweet, to keep this compact as far as showing you the step change and how a ramp and soak works, just so you can actually see in a trend how that's done. Now normally, again, your soak time would be derived upon what you're trying to actually, your process is trying to either heat up or control the temperature of, or whatever you're trying to, your process is doing, right? So again, if it's trying to heat up a vat of metal, you're trying to basically heat up the core of that. Maybe your temperature probe, or maybe your temperature probe is far away from your actual control element or your heater element in that case. So you have to have that reaction time, right? So that's what that's doing, is you're allowing the process to soak at a certain time, so that allows that heating to penetrate the whole vat, right? And I'm just using an example just to kind of get your mind thinking about how a ramp and soak works. So with that said, let's look at our PID. We should be coming right upon changing to our next segment, which is 3, which is going to be going to 85. So as soon as you see this, it will go change the set point. It's starting to ramp the set point right now to 85. Now what we'll do is we'll come back into our trend and see that, right? So our blue line is our ramp and soak output. When you can see that is climbing. And then we have our PID example .pv, which is our PID output, right? We can see that that is actually following. Now that's following a lot nicer this time, well, about the same as last time, because of our segment control, right? So what I mean by that is the ramp and soak right here on these two, basically the ramp time right here was cut down a little bit, or it was made faster. So you just keep that in mind. So we're currently in segment 3, so we're right here. Now when we go in segment 4, it's going to be a little bit different. Now the ramp and soak set point is going to be 90. So let's go ahead and change this regular set point to 95, just to show a change. Okay, so the ramp and soak is expected to go to a segment of 4, and then it will change the set point to 90 based upon the ramp and soak, how that's set, right? The set point is at 90. Now what's going to happen though, being that we have the controls the way we do, is the ramp and soak segment, if it gets above 3, which it gets greater than 3, it's going to then make that selector 1, a value of 1, and it's going to use the heat set point. Again, that is used to be able to determine, do you want to use it in a recipe system? Do you want to use it off a HMI screen where an operator can change that, and have that, as an active thing? If you had that inside of, you could do it inside of the ramp and soak, but the problem with that is you would have to restart that ramp and soak process. So that's the reason I'm kind of doing it outside of that, and that's just one way to do it, right? Let's keep in mind we're about to run out of time right here on our soak time left, so we should be transitioning to our next segment, which will then change to, now you see it ramping up to 90, but our set point is going to be, it's going to ignore the ramp and soak set point, and it's going to put in our heating set point of what we had right here, because now the selector is 1. Okay, so we're using input 2, which is going to be what we talked about using by a recipe, or via recipe for, or maybe an HMI screen or something of that nature. So you can see that we did shoot up to 95. Let's look at our trend. So we did shoot up to 95. Our PV right here, our set point, you can see we changed that. So let's change our set point again to see if our PID reacts, right? So let's go ahead and change this to 100, just to show you that it does work. So we'll change it to 100, and the set point did change to 100. So let's go back to our trend, and you can see the step change for our set point, which is green, the green line. It did move to 100, and then the PID moved up and adjusted itself to where it hit the set point. So you can easily see that's the reason why this set of logic right here and this set of logic right here controlling the set point, that is really a good implementation of how to separate things so that they are easily controlled and they can be controlled auxiliary from the actual ramp and soak when it hits a certain point. Now, like you may be in your process saying, okay, well, we're done with our soak time, right? So you may only have like 2 segments or 3 segments or whatever the case may be. In my case, I had 5, but that's 0 through 4. When it comes down to it, you may have less than that, and when you get to your full soak time, you want to be able to control it auxiliary from the ramp command or the ramp instruction. You don't want to be stuck in this array. You can change that value in that array, but it's not going to update the actual output unless you again stop the ramp and then start the ramp over again. And for most of us in our processes, we don't have that luxury, so this is just building in that flexibility to be able to change that on the fly. I can change this back down to 95 right now, and you can see the set point does change even though the ramp and soak set point is saying 90. The set point of the PID is now 95. If I look back at my trend, I can see the set point did change. My PID is reacting. It is doing exactly how it is designed to work. So I'm not saying this is the only way to do this. I'm saying this is a way to do this, and hopefully it does open your eyes on how to use a ramp and soak, and just looking at it through a trend just to see the process and how the things work. Hopefully that did kind of bring everything together as far as like how a ramp and soak works, how to use it with a PIDE. Again, that is using it obviously with one complex piece of equipment, which is basically a PIDE. We already had the tuning done to save time, but the real gist of it is to understand a ramp and soak command or a ramp and soak instruction. So with that said, hopefully you learned a lot from this video, and we'll see you guys on the next one.